Ugandans came and appeared to the committee and we said all our wisdom, everything, we put it there. To the extent that it even shocked him to deny what he had brought. But instead of thinking that we have wisdom and we brought this thing challenging, he says those are just kerere.
Because Museveni serves Museveni, for Museveni, by Museveni, and forever for Museveni.
Now this is the time to expose yourself as completely foolish. Because Ugandans cannot refuse, and for you go there, we are changing things here. And I want to appeal to that speaker tomorrow. Anita and Tayebwa, please, the moment the parliament sits, withdraw the bill and take it back to the cabinet and they go with it.
I am sorry, I had to be the bearer of the bad news. They are not going to do that. Not that I want them to pass this bill, but they understand where their bread is buttered.
I'm talking to Ugandans. They move up to Kumeini. Please, President Museveni. Ugandans are also people. Basukuru. What do you want with Basukuru? Here, distinguished people, we cannot be just Basukuru.
If we don't use this opportunity of the sovereignty bill, if we don't use it, this opportunity to redefine who we are as a parliament, we are going to be recorded, unfortunately, as the worst parliament since independence.
Now, that's quite some damning admission.
You're watching Mordecai Marissa Live Political Commentary. Please consider subscribing to help grow Uganda's Voices of Struggle ecosystem. Thank you.
I cannot appreciate you enough for using your valuable time to always go on social media, break down things for people.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening from wherever you're watching me and at whatever time you might enjoy this conversation. My name is Mordecai Marissa, and you're welcome to Mordecai Marissa Live. Ladies and gentlemen, tonight we're going to be talking about, again, the tenacity, the confidence, the patriotism of one of the best amongst us, and this is none other than Miria Matembe. She's again rebuking Museveni for his mockery. Remember, recently there were deliberations, I think you saw them, when Ugandans were debating with the parliamentary committees about this bill, the unpopular sovereignty bill. Religious leaders, the women's organizations, the civil society organizations, the Governor Bank of Uganda, name them. Only for Museveni to be like, all what you were talking about was kerere. That was an insult. Now, that's not a surprise to me. I've known Museveni to be this malignant narcissist. He's not healed from the days of the bush. Now, I'm not a psychiatrist. I'm not a psychologist. I'm not diagnosing him. My diagnosis right here is just pedestrian. From watching what he does, how he addresses people, what he thinks of himself, I can come to a conclusion, of course, reading from the works of Heinz Kohut and Sigmund Freud, to be like, this guy is a malignant narcissist. How do you reduce the deliberations, the debates of the best amongst us? I mean, people who have gone to school, who are exposed, including the Governor Bank of Uganda, would be like, what they were engaged in was kerere. That tells you how he doesn't respect people. But Miria Matembe rebuked Museveni, and this is what she had to say. And I'll tell you why I think Miria Matembe is extremely vocal on this stupid bill. Listen here.
Now this is the time to expose yourself as completely foolish. Because Ugandans cannot refuse, and for you go there, we are changing things here. And I want to appeal to that speaker tomorrow. Anita and Tayebwa, please, the moment the parliament sits, withdraw the bill and take it back to the cabinet and they go with it.
I am sorry, I had to be the bearer of the bad news. They are not going to do that. Not that I want them to pass this bill, but they understand where their bread is buttered. They're not there for you and I. They're not there for the Ugandan people. They are there to serve themselves. Tayebwa and Anita Monk, are you kidding me? So when she said what she's trying to comment about here, she's talking about today. This national sovereignty bill is going to be brought back to Parliament for the second and third reading. And then it's going to be passed because, you know, the numerical strength of the NRM thugs, they're going to pass this bill. And remember, you've had many deliberations from so many people apart from NRM folks. You have like a few of them who make some funny, vague, nebulous, comments because they're not there to represent their people. Absolutely not. Museveni said, even if you slept, I don't care, as long as you wake up on the voting day and vote for my agenda. So I'm sorry, Miria Matembe, Anita Among doesn't have your interest or my interest or the Ugandan people or even the people of Bukedea at heart. Zero.
Imagine Ugandans came and appeared to the committee and we said all our wisdom, everything, we put it there to the extent that it even shook him to deny what he had brought. But instead of thinking that we have wisdom and we brought this thing challenging, he says those are just kerere.
Because Museveni serves Museveni, for Museveni, by Museveni, and forever for Museveni.
You know why he says that? Because he's the only wise
Exactly.
and knowledgeable person.
And the danger in this belief, the self-delusion of Museveni that he's the only smart or wise man in Uganda, has gotten worse. That some people surrounding him believe this lie. Oh, Musei. That nonsense. You usually see them when they're around him. Musei. They present him as some uniquely wise man who's got this experience that other people don't have. Dude, I have experience that he doesn't have. You have experience that Museveni doesn't have. He's not anything special. He's just like you. And in some areas, he's even worse because he killed people in a mission to liberate Uganda, only to make it worse.
The rest of us are just hopeless. When we talk and challenge wrong, we are kerere. Please, me I'm talking to Ugandans. They move up to Kumeini. This cannot work. This can't work. And I want to say that once it is to be debated and passed, it gives evidence that indeed the sovereignty of Ugandans is completely taken away. And our national constitution, which has been maimed, they cut the legs, no the arms. Now the bill is taking away the heart of the constitution, which is supposed to be the people. We are supposed to be the heart, central to our constitution. All the policies, programs, whatever are supposed to be, people should be central to them. So please, Ugandans, for us we are talking, you rise up and reject these things. I want to conclude, I think, by telling President Museveni and the parliament, please, President Museveni, Ugandans are also people. Bazukuru, what do you want with Bazukuru? Here, distinguished people, we cannot be just Bazukuru. You know, with Bazukuru, you order Bazukuru. We are not your grandchildren.
Exactly. I'm so glad that someone is pointing this out. I'm not Museveni's Muzukuru. I'm not your grandchild. I'm not your grandson. My dad has never killed any person, okay? My dad has never plundered any nation or any neighborhood. My dad has never been involved in defending the indefensible. Carrying water for those that have committed crime. Don't refer to me as your Muzukuru. I am not. I would honorably take on the that label of Muzukulu. If my granddad, the one who wants to be referred to as my grandfather, really embodied what grandfathers are. They are patient, they are kind, they are indeed smart, they are selfless because they know they are in the evenings of their life on this earth. So they're not as selfish as Museveni. They are not as selfish as he is. But why does he use Bazukulu? Because again, I've told you, he's convinced himself that he's the most wisest man in the world. He believes that. That's why I told you again, I made a video before he released that diatribe of a statement. We started the fighting for Africa, the movement, Pan-Africanism, in the days of Marcus Garvey, in 1800. He goes into that perverted version of history because to him he's the only smart man, is the only one who knows what happened, when and where, how should it have been. He's been in power for 40 years, but he still has to cry about the regimes of Obote and Idi Amin Dada combined. Yet he's bad. Like I said, if you scrutinize his regime, is worse than Idi Amin Dada and Obote combined. Why does he address people as Bazukulu? It's demonizing. It's a coded language. He's got a few people. Isn't it funny that even folks who are in the age bracket of Museveni refer to him as Muzei? What type of nonsense is that? You have Nabanja who refers to him as deputy God. Oh, Muzei, Hatijira Muzei, after God you are next. She said those words, please. These words are on tape, like recorded. And then you have Anita Among, whom Miria Matembe is appealing to reject this bill, has referred to Museveni as God the Father. So you think that Anita Among is going to go against her God? No.
We are Ugandans, whether they are our children, whether our grandchildren, whether we are ourselves senior citizens, we are Ugandans. Please respect us and know that we are also responsible. That when we come out and see a wrong and talk about it, respect us.
Respect us. Exactly. But isn't it sad? Like, think about it. If you have a partner, a friend, any person in the neighborhood or at a workplace whom you need to remind to be like, hey, respect me. There's something fundamentally wrong with that person. Like, respect should be automatic. Now, they say respect is earned, but before you get to know people, you give them respect for who they are. They are people, human beings. But imagine a country having to ask Museveni, the president, who should be the embodiment of respect. You have to remind him, hey, Museveni, please, will you respect me? That tells you how sick that nation is. And that doesn't mean I hate Uganda. Again, I usually make these comments because I know you're very likely to land on Museveni simps and stooges and tell you, Mordecai hates Uganda. Do you like my lapel pin? Museveni didn't give me this. I bought it myself. I actually used to wear one when I was on TV in Uganda. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I'll give you a comment here. It came from Betty Namboze Bachireke. She made extremely damning comment here. She said, if this bill is passed, listen here, this is this should scare you.
If we don't use this opportunity of the sovereignty bill, if we don't use it, this opportunity to redefine who we are as a parliament, we are going to be recorded, unfortunately, as the worst parliament since independence.
Now, that's quite some damning admission. And she's seen the worst. She's seen when Museveni bribed members of parliament with 5 million shillings to amend the constitution to remove term limits. She was injured in a scuffle when Museveni sent his jackbooted thugs in the parliament to brutalize those members of parliament who are opposed to the amendment of the constitution to remove the age limit. If she's the one saying that, she's seen the worst. She's seen the corruption. She's seen the double dealing in this parliament. But if she's saying, hey, if this is passed, we're going to go down in history as the worst parliament in the history of Uganda, you know how dangerous this thing is.
Every opportunity we have had to assert ourselves as a parliament, we have wasted it.
I don't want to say they've wasted it. I am sorry for cutting her short. I think they've not wasted it. I think they've been defeated, not fairly, but through cheating of Museveni. They've decided, they've tried to assert themselves, like when it came to the passing of the amendment of the Constitution to remove the age limit. They asserted themselves only for Museveni to send his jack-booted thugs to assault them.
Increasingly, we have given ourselves away into the executive. The executive has eaten deep into parliament in the last 5 years than ever before, and it is so unfortunate.
I don't want to say they've given that because we don't have the principle of the separation of powers. These are not co-equal branches of government, what we see in Uganda, absolutely not. These are the judiciary and the legislature is the extension of the NRA cabal. They should be independent. Co-equal branches of government that are independent, but these are extension of the Musevenism. So I think what she's referring to the speakers of parliament and probably the judiciary by extension, who have completely abandoned their responsibilities to serve the interest of one man.
This is what most probably the speaker called, referred to as walloping in the opposition. As she wallops in the opposition, we have given away the independence of parliament, and together with it, our powers to check the executive, to come up with good laws, and to be able to throw out bad legislation. So many bad things, policies have been introduced around this time. I've never seen a parliament. I've been here for 16 years. I was briefly in the 8th parliament, I was in the 9th parliament, I was in the 10th parliament, and now I've been in the 11th parliament. But never before have I seen a parliament that has completely forgotten that we are a different arm of government, that we are not part of the executive. And, to appear to be against the positions of the executive in this parliament, the 11th parliament, is to be considered like, you are looked at as an enemy of even the house itself. The more you try to raise issues that assert ourselves as another arm, a separate arm of government from the executive. Today you cannot draw the line between the executive and parliament. Even when we went into the campaigns, you saw our speaker campaigning vigorously for a candidate. That would never happen before. A speaker attending caucus meetings, a speaker referring to a president, like say, I want to thank the president for allowing me to give Honorable Numbers the money for treatment. You see that for everything to be done in the parliament, we first seek the approval of the president.
It is really sad, but you know why you're looked at as an enemy to the likes of Anita Among and Thomas Tayebwa and of course Museveni? It is because you are trying to apply reason, logic, and common sense to people who have launched an unprovoked war on reason, logic, and common sense. You're going to be an enemy. To them, it is money. It is prestige. It is proximity to power that is speaking. They don't care. Okay. I'm so glad that this woman, is standing up. Then I'm talking about Miria Matembe. Listen to what she said. She's very tough here. Listen. Oh boy, look at her face. She's tough.
President oyo yangoba mwenjogera n'abagenzi mu abampuliriza wano ku president. Nayimirira for integrity. Niye mugamba tojja kukyusa constitution yaffe, nojjako term limit. Tojja kugijjako nze minisita wo for ethics and integrity jaga kumurira ntokubiyingiramu is unethical and corruption. President Museveni nantunula n'agamba va wano nenvawo nekatisiyiwo.
Worry, because you know why? Your values and principles are not measured on how much money you have in your bank account. That's what makes you special. That's not what's here in the mind of Anita Among and Thomas Tayebwa and a few other stooges of Museveni. Their worth is measured by how much their net worth is, which is sad, because in the end, it doesn't really matter whether you have $1 billion cars, $1 billion, it doesn't really matter. Okay. And I'm going to tell you why. I think why she's speaking out this confident and she's out all the time. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think, look at here how she was looking and how she said, listen.
Cannot. I see you quiet. Are you fearing? I don't care whether anybody comes, they will arrest me. When they come to arrest me, my angels will catch up with them. You cannot. Because this bill is touching the poor women in the village, the poor people whose children have gone to make money, who are sweeping in Saudi Arabia, who are suffering all that, and they are supposed to send that money to their parents, take care of them, and then you call them foreigners as if you are better of a Ugandan than these people. Mm-hmm. This bill is going to cause chaos. But when I see these people, with the arrow, I want to tell God, release fire from come and consume them. Members of parliament are the cause of our problem.
Not really. Not really. The cause of our problem is the face of gerontocracy, Yoweri Museveni. That's the problem we have. Yeah, he's really abused the parliament. And lastly, this is what she had to say.
The sovereignty of Uganda was sold long ago when you engaged yourself in heavy debts which are supposed to be paid by your grandchildren, by your children. The sovereignty, you are slaves to other nations where you borrow money.
No lie detected. And I'm going to go on and show you here what she's talking about when she says we're going to have to take so many years. This was reporting from Daily Monitor. Uganda needs 94 years to clear debt. 94 years to clear debt. That means you, your dad, your brothers, your grandchildren are going to be paying this debt. And this doesn't mean that Museveni is not continuing to borrow more money from other countries. When was this? This was 2018. Don't be surprised if they say, hey, it's actually going to take us 150 years now, because this was reported in 2018. What's our national debt as we speak? Read here. Uganda needs 94 years to clear debt. And I was seeing here, Uganda's public debt surpasses 130 trillion shillings. Okay. Lastly, this is what she said when she was launching, when she was invited to speak. She swore that she was going to fight this bill.
Redemption.
Who doesn't understand she's really angry about the thievery in Uganda by Museveni people? She says they are stealing, like plundering the country, and you end up saying, oh, everything is okay in Uganda, we have peace, and she's like, now I'm fighting the sovereignty bill. Pray for me, and I know you might be worried now, wondering why she's been given a microphone. Look, this is what I think, and I admire this from her. I think she's at a point where she's taking an L, like loss. She believes that she fed the monster, thinking the monster probably would be some sort of a domestic animal that they would be proud of. She didn't know it was a monster. And she's looking at the monster, Museveni, devouring people. And I think there's a sense of responsibility within her that says, I'm responsible for this turmoil that I see in Uganda, and I've got to do something. And I admire that. I admire that. Do you realize she needs some special appreciation? She's been the consistent voice on the condemnation of this bill. And as today, they bring it for the second and third reading, and it's most likely going to pass. And before I get back to Miria Matembe, let me tell you what's going to happen today. Two things are most likely to happen. One, it might be passed again for reasons I've mentioned, the numerical strength of the NRM and the suspension of reason and logic of folks within the NRM caucus, members of parliament. And then it might not be passed again, Museveni trying to appear like, oh, I care about the Ugandan people. Remember when he came up with that statement where he says, oh, this is Kerere, I did not recommend this bill, blah, blah, blah. A few clauses that have been added, they are not my recommendations. That was a lie. He knew everything, but he always wants to appear like he's having his cake and eating it too. It is perverted way of playing politics. It is Machiavellian. It is wrong, should be condemned. So don't be surprised tomorrow if there is some sort of a special session or Museveni is going to address the nation. That can happen. He usually plays this. He wants to appear like he's the smartest man. Oh, he's now pulling an A game in this very, very polarizing situation. That might happen. Anyways, away from that, I think Matembe should be admired for what she's doing. She's been vocal, standing out, condemning, and she said, I'm going to fight this, and she's been fighting. I should say, maybe we have betrayed her, but she has played her part. So as this bill passes, the biggest question that is directed to me and you is how long are we going to be putting up with this lawlessness and impunity, with this theft and plundering of our nation? When? How long? Because these folks are paving way for Muhoozi Kainerugaba, whom they know is unpopular. So they're trying to find ways of how they can weaken any sort of opposition that when he ascends to power, there's nobody to question him. You have a very impoverished or broken opposition, then Muhoozi just enjoys presidency and commits crimes unabated. It's sad. Let me know what you think. My name is Mordecai Murisa. I have immense respect and appreciation for you, Honorable and Mama Miria Matembe. Now, I feel proud when I say Mama Miria Matembe. I'm not going to say that about Janet Kataha Museveni. Stop that nonsense. Who am I? Who is she? Mama Janet Kataha. Oh, you know, where was he? And I'm so glad she's never mentioned, she's never made those, used those, that term, Miria Matembe, referring to Janet. She says, First Lady. Sometimes she says, this lady, you lady, because she's a charlatan. Oh, Mama, Janet Kataha. Oh, and Jesus, he loved me. You know how she talks when she wants to pretend like she is holier than thou. Anyways, enough. I wish you a wonderful time. Sorry if I messed up somewhere, if I said things I shouldn't be saying. I should apologize. And you have yourself a wonderful time. Bye-bye.
Did you enjoy what you just watched?
I'm sure they did.
I'm going to guess that you did. How about you consider subscribing to Mordecai Marissa Live YouTube channel? Thank you.